All right, let's walk through this price action. Why is it NQ? Oh, this is the wrong pair. This is the wrong screen. There we go. Okay, so let's take a look here. Initially, the first thing I see is there's a sweep here. There is this run up to fill imbalance. This fill of imbalance failed to produce lower prices, even though that we're clearly in a bearish trend. I clearly don't have to measure ISPs. I know just from looking at it right away that the ISP high is here, the ISP low is here. It's now ran sell side liquidity, so it's dug into that and then pushed up. It filled imbalance. That should have resulted in lower prices. It hasn't. And then I do see that price is holding here. And it looks to me that there was a manipulation here. Pushed up, price then pushed down again, grabbing liquidity to push up again. So the obvious thing is that we're going to higher prices, right? So we have buy side liquidity sitting here. Why do I believe that we're going to higher prices? Because price, this level here that came up and filled imbalance has not resulted in lower prices. That should have broken the low, and now we're reacting. We were clearly in bullish order flow in this leg, so I want to focus myself on that bullish order flow. It's the 4 hour clearly confirming that we're in bullish order flow. I can follow ISPs. We have now a swing point here, and that's fill of imbalance here. So you have an ISP here that breaks up. This imbalance doesn't result in lower prices, so it seeks the sell side liquidity. It comes into this manipulation. That's nice. I can also measure out this manipulation. Where is that? Right here. And we can get an idea of where price wants to go. Is there anything that's in line? That's what I'm looking for. And we can see that that buy side liquidity is in fact in line with that manipulation. So prices may want to trend up there. We've seen resistance at that first deviation, but then that did not bring us lower. So there's a very real possibility that this is to continue. And then we have this FEG after a sweep. So this is very valuable. The 1 hour, I learned really no new information. And we can go to the 15. Now the 15, again, no new information currently, but I do see that we have sell side liquidity here. So prices may want to run that sell side liquidity. So that's it. If I'm expecting higher prices, I need to look for a sell side manipulation to anchor my bias to for the day. So I'll just skip through price. Why are we on the 1 minute? Okay, so there's the open of the new day. 12 a.m. Okay, so I'm looking for a manipulation below this before 11 a.m. Midnight open. Beautiful. That's it. I just have to wait for a manipulation to occur below this level. And the obvious area for that to occur is here because this is sell side liquidity inside of the 4 hour FEG. Right? So that's the obvious area for price to trend to, and it's built up that equal. So I'm going to wait for that to get rated so that I have something to trade in line with the bias. And that's it. Even if this starts to trend up, it doesn't matter. Okay, pushes down. That supports price a little bit. If we break up from here, then I may be interested in taking some trades, but I feel like, not that I feel like, but this is the most obvious area to trade from, right? If I take a buy here, there's no telling me that this doesn't just sweep and take me out. So I just want to take those high probability setups. Okay, there's a push down. It's coming to here. There's possibly a trade to take down into there. Okay, pushes up. grab some orders. It should be on the 1 minute. And there's that push down into it. All right, let's see what happens here. This type 1 will be active as soon as we tap above. Okay, so it digs down more, so that is not a type 1. Comes at the sell side, also not at the type 1. It's pushing down. All right, big push down, pushes above. I want to see that this down close candle is supporting price before I take any trades. There's the midnight open, so there's very real possibility that this is the sweep. And we can come take out all of these equals. There's a type 1 here. That can push down price more. There's a possibility to take an entry here. I think it's yeah, this would be your first buy if you wanted to take that, and you would take it like this. I'm not going to take it, but that is a possible entry. So that should support price. And then your first area of resistance is just this high. All right, we want to see that this is supporting price at around the 50%, which we can see. All right, pushes back down, still supporting, and now it looks like we're chopping about. So this is what I don't want to see, right? So as soon as I see this chopping nature here, it's not following what I would like to see. So I'm going to wait for a breakup. We've now just created sell side liquidity. So there's a very real possibility that if this wants to go lower, that, well, that's ready to be liquidity to take, right? We've set those equals. See what happens at this level. Okay, start selling off. Should be stretched out to like 11 a.m. Okay, we're clearly in bearish order flow now. And it seems to me that we're going to run and take this sell side liquidity because there's nothing else to stop us, right? There's that type 1 here, but we haven't flipped anything. Like the 5 minute is still completely bearish. Everything else is still completely bearish. We've now created equals here to get ran later, which I do like to see. So we'll wait for that because my buy, I'm not going to take a sell here. My bias is bearish. Sorry, bullish. You see that we're clearly in bearish order flow. Bullish FEG is not doing anything. Pushes down. All right, let's see what happens from this price. Okay. Time is it? 5. Let's get a little bit closer to the opens. Okay, that's a very nice manipulation now. You see that we had this big push down. I can then measure this as well. Very nice. That 15 minute now is active. So we do not want to see prices really trend below that 50% of that last down close candle, which would be right there. Look at this whole manipulation breaks up, breaks down. Take us up into liquid regions. Okay. Nice liquidity here. Take us above into here. FEG. This looks pretty good. So we have this type 1 that's active now, and it's supported by this FEG. So I want to take this trade here. So there's that last down close candle. I'm just going to cover like this and then target up into here. I just put my stop right below there because it may come back on me. But I want to see this rip up basically right away. And if it doesn't, then what's going on here? What? What is that? Why? Oh, because the price is down there. Okay, so then there's no trade, I guess. We'll wait. That's weird. Okay. Pushes down lower. Why did it push down lower? Don't know. Currently, we're respecting it on the 5 minute still. There's that 5 minute FEG. See if we get higher prices. Okay. Still, it's not doing what I expected it to do. Therefore, I just assume that it's doing something on the higher time frame. When it's not doing something on the lower time frame, the time frame I'm looking at, then I just assume that it's looking at something on the higher time frame. We have an FEG here, a newly created FEG that's stacked on with this type 1. Where's the 50% of this type 1 again? Right there. So I'm going to slap my entry on just above that. And I'm going to cover the candle 2 like that. And I'm going to target the high right there for 4.6R, 4.26R. Okay. Place order by limit. I think realistically I should have taken a loss on that first one, but it is what it is. Just stay on the 5 minute. And see if we get tagged in here. Tagged in to the tapped right onto the 50% on the dot. Let's see if that wants to go higher. It fills in that imbalance. And it seems like it wants to, it's still respecting. But yeah, this is not ideal delivery, but still respecting, still respecting. And yeah, it looks like it's going to want to drop. Not great delivery. Is there news or something? What day is that? 24th of October. $7.20. Nope. Very ugly. Takes us out and rallies off. So that's just unfortunate. I should have given it some room to breathe. Oof. All right. We can re-trigger off that though. So we'll see. Place order. Buy limit. Don't know what that was. Ooh, that's brutal. But it is what it is. It still didn't hit the draw, so I would look to enter back off of that low. And then again, covering this area because this is now balanced price range. It should support price. We can put the price below it. Place order, buy limit. Retest that midnight opening price. See if it comes into this and pulls back down a bit. Because I don't have a good stop placement if I enter up there. So like I don't think it's gonna come down here, but if it does, at least I get an entry. That not triggered me in? Nope. Okay. What was it? 940. Okay, well, that's that, right? So there's the trade ID was there. I think that's a stop misplacement. So I entered here. I should have covered the whole down close candle and gave it just a little bit of room to breathe. I messed that up. So that's a low of 98132. And this low came down to 98131. So it's actually just a missed stop placement. The trade ID was good. 1 second, a phone call. Okay, so yeah, that's my mistake. This rushing from backtesting, but that was a profitable trade. I should have covered that low, and that would have been in. The delivery kind of sucked, but I mean the trade was still profitable. The idea was still profitable. This was in fact the low of the day, at least so far. That was the whole idea, was that was the low of the day. That is what it is. Okay, well, moving on to the next one. We still have the rest of this day to trend up, and I'm expecting higher prices anyways. So let's see if there are any more new pro order flow moves. So we've taken that buy side liquidity. We can expect some kind of a temporary pullback. What could that pull back to here? Or we didn't displace through. So let's see what happens with price if we actually close above this. Okay, so prices should be supported here. And we can cover that low like so. And we're going to target this up into here and above. Looking at up into here. Obviously, I'm not going to hold that long. So we're going to find a reasonable target. And we're just gonna take this guy right to here. And we'll see if we get tagged in. Tagged in. All right, that can go trail. We'll just put that at break even. And this delivery should continue. And now we should respect this here. And we'll take this. The RR is not great. So I'll do this. Or even yeah, 2R. Yeah, we'll do 2R. Place order. Save. And we'll see if this gets tagged in. Continues to push up. Continuing to push up. Right, currently the range is from here to here. So prices may actually push down all the way into OTE. So we'll take the OTE entry. There's the OTE entry. It's reacting to OTE. This down close candle should support price. Just having confidence in our draw and our bias being correct. We take here, we take a loss, and we take a break even, and that's completely fine. Late in the day, so definitely unfavorable. Because this is Forex, I should close. So I'll close this one in profit because it's Forex and we're out of the trading hours, and I'll leave it the only one open. We'll go to the 5-minute and skip through price. Definitely don't want to trade through spread hours, but yeah, just hold in that. Take profit here. We're at a new, nope, not a new day yet. So we're forming new support. 12 a.m. open. Carry that over. This is the new day. Look for manipulation below. If it wants to set that, of course, we have liquidity here. Runs it. And it may want to actually come collect our stop. Yep. No problem. Go down 1%. Let's clear up some of this messy chart. We have tons of equals here. We still have an expected higher draw. There's nothing too interesting in all of this price action. So it's the 4-hour, maybe a reaction from here that we can see. So let's just sit and wait. That's the fill of that 4-hour imbalance. So I may have had to do that before coming up higher. There's a nice manipulation. Beautiful. Okay, that's below 12. Let's see if we get some nice delivery out. We do. Creating those 1-minute ISPs. This looks like it's probably gonna just rip straight up into our zone. So let's see. We might find resistance right here. Okay. Let's see here. Did that come into the discount of the range? Just seeing, what is it does. Okay, so I kind of want to get above this level before I take any buys. But I'm definitely favoring the buys here. Let's see a run down through these lows. Or a run up and break above that level. Okay, there's the run down through the lows. Now, if we start to see higher prices, that could be our type 1. Okay, pushes down. This is nice. Yeah, not so much. And we're going down lower. So just not giving us what we're looking for. This is very choppy price action. I'm not sure if you were testing both sessions, but yeah. Pulls that manipulation. Oftentimes it'll come back to that area in which it manipulates, which it does, and then it holds it. And it's trending up now. Let's see if that holds. That does. That blasts off. That's nice. That was a pretty good trade, actually. So we will take this here, OTE, take this entry right there, cover, target the highs, quick trade idea right there. There's the tap in. Now it should bring us higher. Can manage this very aggressively. Okay, prices should not return back to our stop if we are on the right side. Okay, looks like it'll probably run down through these lows. Okay, that's why we manage. So break even, no problem. Okay, comes back down lower. Could be a reaccumulation, putting in a swing point, pushes up, down, fills in all of the imbalance. We need to see a break out of this zone here to confirm that this is a type 1. Now I want to see that this supports price, pushes down again. And we should see higher prices from here. Do we get anything tradable though? That's the question. It looks like it's going to come down lower. So it's again not doing what I expected it to do. So I just simply wait and just be patient. Just assume that it is looking for some higher time or building some kind of higher time frame liquidity, which it may have as we've broken up above these highs, broken down lower. That could be a manipulation, but still I'm waiting here patiently. I'm not intending to take any trade, clearly disproving quickly. So wait. And this may just be a creation of higher time frame liquidity from here, right? Now, I don't have access to DXY right now, but I would be very curious to see if this sweeps on DXY. So if this starts to rally up, I'm just going to safely assume that it did. Now, that's not good practice, obviously, but I'm just going to assume that it did. Okay. If this starts to really pick up. Okay, it doesn't. All right. So we wait some more. Is this creation of a type 1? Is that manipulation? Measure the 50%. Prices should support here. We can see that they are. Is there any type of trade to take? I would suggest that this will support price, and we can take this all the way up into these highs here. I would 100% take this trade just like that. Place order. Buy limit tagged in, and this should see higher prices. This is all liquidity buildup for higher prices. Market maker buy model. I'll just have some confidence that this will trade, and I'll leave my stop open. I want to see this start to push up. Just having confidence now. And I can scale in higher up in this leg if I wish to. 8M, okay, pushes up into here. This is where I would take off my first profits. We'll have 50%, and we'll see if there is an opportunity to get involved again. Okay, continues to rally up. And we're going to hold the rest to the take profit. Boom, beautiful. Beautiful. Very, very, very clean delivery. And this, excuse me, is low resistance liquidity run. There's nothing here to stop us all the way up. This is all liquidity just getting ran through. There's not even an imbalance to fill. That would be an earlier draw, right? It just completely ran down. Okay. Notice this. I was looking for this as a potential manipulation, but that's actually a bad habit. The best quality trades, and that's something that I'm really trying to step away from, and something that I'm really trying to do in the new course, is to emphasize that and teach that beforehand, because it will expedite your progress if you learn this first and foremost. Speaking of the course, I think I don't think I'm going to be releasing it tomorrow. Today I had a real deep think about how I really want this course to go. And I want it to minimize questions as much as possible. And as I dive into it deeper, I'm finding myself in disagreement with it. And because the first course is fine, and the second course, the version 2, is meant to solve all of the issues of the first course. And I have no intent of making a course V3 unless I change things in the strategy, which I have no intent of doing anytime soon. So I'm not quite there yet. I'm not very happy with it yet. It's great, but I don't think it's quite there yet. And I don't want to rush it. I feel like I'm rushing it. Anyways, so that's the trade there. That's a fantastic, beautiful trade. Beautiful trade. Anyways, my point was this is a bad habit here of looking to the left and trying to catch this manipulation. I think this one's, yeah, see, it's just silly, because this is what is this? This is nothing. This is absolutely nothing here. There's nothing here. This one though was kind of acceptable, I would say. I don't even know if I was looking there. This one I would say is acceptable because we are coming to a higher, an important area, and we do have this little bit of a manipulation. And the lower time frame stopped delivering how I was expecting. So just like I said before any of this happened, when lower time frame stops following my expectations, I instantly assume that it's building up for a higher time frame liquidity sweep, which is exactly what happened on the 15-minute. It built up a 15-minute sweep, right? It almost always happens. It's like clockwork. This is what I found with my own testing. Almost happens always like freaking clockwork. Okay, that sweep came. So notice that there was no manipulation of something to the left. It was a manipulation that formed intraday, was swept at a key level. This would be that H4 FEG, right? So it's not the H4 FEG itself, but it's also the manipulation that needs to happen to engage us with our entry model. And we get that here. And there's your entry. It seems like that's the only entry, is the type 1 entry. There was no FEG, which is completely fine. There's FEGs on the lower time frame that it's filling. Like, all we need to know for the initial entry is that it's a type 1 that's creating, and that price should not trend below the 50%. That happens, prices rip off, and then you probably get CO entries here on the lower time frame. Absolutely. Up in here, pushes up, multiple FEGs. Take the one that's stacked. Is there one that's stacked? Okay, so the 2 minute, right? Oh, there's a good example of how price seeks volume imbalances over gaps, because the volume imbalance is like a true inefficiency in the market. Comes, seeks that. There's your first pro order flow entry. That would be rule number 1. Take the one that's stacked. So, I mean, this is all one whole, like the volume imbalance and the rest, you can carry that off. And you'd have one gap like that. So I guess technically that would be rule 2. 1 FEG, take it. You'd cover that low. That's actually a better entry. I just find for myself recently that the easiest entry for me is just after the manipulation covering that low. After the manipulation covering that low, just because I'm confident that that is the low of the day. Or, you know, I didn't cover the full low, but I covered the candle bodies low, the closing candles low. Beautiful 5.3 hour trade. Took profit a little early. That's fine. 3.25 R after being down 1 R. So very good, very good. And that's just the Tuesday. So let's continue. Yeah, just ripping off. Okay. That's probably gonna rip straight to here. So there's a possibility to hold this whole trade, which would have been insane. But I'm not in the business of doing that. So yeah, at least maybe in the future, but currently, no. Not quite there yet. Okay, I already know, like, there's nothing here for me. What am I going to catch here? I have this level, and maybe if this holds and we start to deliver bullish, sure. But again, I need a manipulation. Without a manipulation, a clear manipulation set in a type 2, what am I going to do with this? And we're getting late in the day now anyways, so. Just gonna go to New York session. Not gonna look at London session. So that rallies off. We can look into this. Sweeps the lunchtime low. Comes back to that FEG. Pushes up. There's that manipulation. Look at the 50% of that. 50%. It does trend lower a little bit, but not by too much. Just like I mentioned earlier, so I've noticed that price will come back down to the same area, to that liquidity level that breaks, and it happened to the 2-year again. I've noticed that. I don't know how to put that into a trading plan. I guess it would just be an area for your potential entry if you suspect that that's the low of the day or the low of the move, and you could just take something like that. But I don't have the numbers on it, just something that I've noticed. Okay, there's definitely pro order flow entries in here. Obviously, like, this is pure beautiful delivery. You wouldn't even take this one. But after we push out, manipulates this old low here, the lunchtime low from yesterday. Obviously, Asian session, building up all of this liquidity to get taken. Breaks down a low, displaces away. You get the displacement, pushes down. It's just retesting these old highs. Displaces again. You don't have an ISP here. At least not on this time frame, but the 15-minute you do. Right, so that's really nice to see. And then after you get the 50-minute one, now you know that on the 5-minute, it's not going to trend below here. Okay, there's that 50-minute low. So it's that little sweep. So you couldn't see that on the 5-minute, right? Because it's just wicks. But on the 50-minute, you can see that it is ripping through the 50-minute low into that FEG. So it rebalances, therefore it's an ISP. Therefore, this down close candle should basically be protected. And then you have a stacked FEG. You have multiple FEGs. Take the one that's the first one that's stacked. That's the first one that's stacked. There's your entry. You'd cover the previous ISP low. And you can enter on that stacked area, cover the ISP low, target that high right there, 2.6R. So there's another really good entry, but that was in London session. And now, have we hit our targets? Yes, we have. It seems though that the next target, like I mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned, maybe I mentioned it, but it would be these highs on the daily. So we have this high, then we have like the whole fill of this gap as well. Yeah, this new week opening gap as well. Like that is a gap in the market. So prices may want to trend to the high of that. And then above that, of course, we have buy side liquidity. Yep. So we're just going to assume it's going to continue bullish until proven otherwise. No need to sell. Okay, so now we're in New York session. And the question is this pullback complete? No idea. Pushes down into this imbalance, comes to the 50%, pushes up, holds the line at this FEG, continues up. And the question is, are we taking a continuation of New York? We're going to assume that yes, we are. Another FEG. Ideally, I want to see a breakdown, which we currently do not have. Slight manipulation here. I want to see if this gap gets traded to. This is easy to overanalyze price at this point, so you have to be very careful. Okay, so it comes actually down even lower to this volume imbalance. Taps into it perfectly. Algorithmic, of course. And we're trending away. The low, these are matched lows, so that's actually an open FEG. We'll see if that doesn't get traded to now. So there's a slight manipulation, and okay, this FEG is tapped into, and we're going lower. Sure, no problem. Not in a rush to take a trade. Now I feel like I'm overanalyzing price, so I'm just gonna be smart about it and step off of this imbalance here. And there's a possibility to just come lower, of course. Because now, like, we're not in CO, right? I don't have a manipulation to anchor my bias to. So yeah, okay, here's a nice manipulation. Now we also have this would be type 1. So if this gap's above, then this can be, okay, there's a reaction from the type 1. And there you go, right? So that could have been a breaker setup, but it wasn't. This is what I mean about making sure we get above those resistance to get us into some low resistance conditions. And now, however, if we get a manipulation and price starts to trend up, this is low resistance because it's already given us the reactions. Come back to that 50%. We're going to look for a manipulation of that low and a run, right? Like this is not developing in any way that we're expecting. So just like before, where we waited patiently for that manipulation to build up, we may want to do that again. So retesting that old high here. We'll see what happens at this level. Okay. So very nice buildup. And this looks pretty good. I would like to see if there was some kind of a SMT here. I do like that this displaced. I would take this. I would have to put my stop lower like so, and we're gonna just target that high. Just because at least Yeah, we're gonna do this. No. Oh, I don't like this actually. No, I don't need to be involved in this right away, so we'll wait and see if this wants to push up. Beautiful. Okay, there we go. I'm back. It came up above, took the buy side here. What is this? So it's like the opening price is high. Okay, we took the opening prices high. It's pushing down. We have an FEG here. That could be the manipulation, and then prices could go down lower. I don't know. There's the higher prices. Yeah, that's not okay. Yeah, this is some crazy PA right now. Maybe news here. 26th of October at 10. Yep, tons of news. 26th of October at 10. So we're gonna run to the buy side. Okay, we still have that buy side open. Just coming down lower. There's sell side here. Okay, and it runs up. All right. That's that. No trade, no problem. There was potentially a trade in here. I wasn't so confident in it. Why wasn't I confident in that trade? I'm not sure. I probably should have been because there is an SMB here. This imbalance fill. The price down lower. SMB. Yeah. That's okay. Again, just following that bias now. See if we can retest something here. What's this? You know, displace through that. This is supporting up price now. We've come into that FEG. We should see higher prices from here. Yeah, this should just continue. So reason being, okay, so this is first line of defense. We've broken above this old high. It's supporting price. We've displaced through it. We're holding that on at the 50%. Okay, we've tapped in, created an ISP at this low here. We're breaking up. I want to see that this supports price to go higher. So we're going to take that. We'll just cover that low there. And we will target up into here. There we go. And that is rule number 3 with the OTE. A question that you asked today, actually, Johnny. And prices should not trend below here, so we're already reducing risk. If we break up, okay, beautiful. Now we're 100% at break even. There's no reason not to be. We're now in a new order flow range. So from here and here, and that would be rule 3. So it's automatically an ISP. And I can technically just trail to ISP lows, of course. So I'll show you what that would look like. That would be a trail here, but I'm not going to because this is based on some higher time frame information. Just going up. We could track this order flow as well. So pull back to that range. Now we're getting late in the day. I would be closing out of my trade by now. So I would probably just close the trade right here if I was on live. This stop as well technically could be below here. But I like to just feel confident in my trades, cover it between below some of these higher time frame areas, just for using order flow as a confirmations, right? 12, 12, 12, 12. I'd probably close this. It came up. Oh, that was the entry right above there. Okay, that's fine. Still targeting that imbalance fill. I don't know, man. Do I want to close this? We could reach up into the 50% because I don't really understand what it's rotating off of. Right. So I think we'll probably get a little bit higher. And I'm willing to take that risk. Okay, there's a little manipulation. That's good. And this is what the market does, right? It works in a way that tries to scare you out of your positions or to get on the wrong side, right? And getting scared out of a position is technically being on the wrong side, right? Because I would be selling here, thinking that that's the bottom, because my buy orders need to be sold, and that creates sell side liquidity to go higher. So this is a reaccumulation happening. So I'm definitely going to be trailing my stop up to there. And I'm just going to take my profit up there. Don't do this to me. Oh my God, this is horrible. I'm going to take the profit right there. We'll take it. Good enough for me. It ran the old high and then it displaced down. Obviously, it's still supporting price here. And the ISP is technically going to hold, but I'm good with that. 106. Okay, beautiful. We'll close out 100%. Oop, 100%. Cool. So there's the Wednesday. So that's midweek. All right, still drawing up to that, up into here. Why I don't understand why that's there. Up into here, there's the 50%. We still did not hit that. But that's the day trade. We're at a new day now. And let's see. So there's the first area, is that 50%. You have to understand that FEGs, they don't just react in the random areas, right? These large FEGs especially. These large FEGs especially will be reacted to in the middle, right? It's already been tapped into. So where's the next area that it can react to? Well, the middle or the full close. We don't know which one, of course, but we're just going to bet that it doesn't go the extra mile all the time and just manage our positions, right? That's already a great trade as is. We're up 6.2% on the account in half a week. That's fantastic. Okay, it taps in. Runs up. So that was a fine take profit. I got scared out of the position a little bit. 4R. I got taken out at around somewhere around here, 3R. So left an R on the table, right? It's the things that I need to grow from. Have that more that confidence in that algorithmic delivery, right? Like that should have hit here because it's an algorithm. That's what it's designed to do. It's hit its objectives. Okay, it's going up quite a bit higher. Okay, so it built out a range. It's around those highs. And this may be cause for a temporary pullback. So we're going to look at that whole range, the whole swing leg, which would be that 1 hour ISP. Okay, so maybe we want to make a deeper pullback from here, or even on the 4 hour. We may want to make a deeper pullback in that 4 hour ISP here. So we might actually want to come back to this level that gapped over. That would be very interesting to see. I'm not going to take shorts. I'm still bullish bias. Just following what's happening in the market already. There's no need to be bearish yet, so I'm not just going to try and jump into a sell here. We'll go 50 minutes. So there's probably no more sells for the rest of the week, or buys, I mean. It comes down to OTE of the swing leg. That's the 1 hour ISP, 50-minute swing. Okay, so it does come back all the way back. So this is now a relevant price action. 4 hour. So here we're in an area for a potential buy. This is now the Thursday at 8:30. We want to see that something happens here, manipulation in this range, right? If this just continues to sell off, then obviously there's no reason. Take a buy, we sweep the high. That may be cause for lower prices. We have to wait and see. Breaks up. Okay, so it's not even respecting anything on the sell side. Or discount arrays, right? It should have respected that FEG, which it did. That brought us a little bit higher, and that filled in some imbalance here on the 15. That imbalance here on the 15. Then now it drops. So this should, if we are in bearish order flow, break the lows. We'll see if that happens. If that happens, obviously we just wait and we don't take any trades. So you simplify what's happening on the chart. There's sell side liquidity here. And there's that fill of imbalance, right? These are the only two things that the markets do. They fill imbalance or they go for liquidity. So it's filled imbalance. Now it may go for liquidity. There's no imbalance in this leg. This is completely balanced. So the logical thing here is that it will go for the sell side. Okay. Obviously, it can go higher. That's what the bias is overall. However, we're in a pullback and there's no reason for me to assume that it's not looking for something on the sell side. So I'm still going to monitor price. Now, I may take a trade like this on my own, but I know that you're only trading the Pro MTF ISP, so you would not take this trade, so I'm going to keep it that way. So just see what happens, right? I'm not going to show any intent to take a trade. See, this is technically a stacked region, but this will probably pull up. Oh, there you go. So it holds at the stack level. Comes into this FEG. Inverse FEG, it's all that, right? And now this is trending. So here's the trade that I would 100% take. Just like this. And you're taking this low and lower. So we can extend this. Find the manipulation from here to here. Since this is a breaker block setup. And your minimum exit is right there. So you're looking at the 1.65R entry. And I would just go like that. Just cover that candle too there. And there's your exit. Okay, didn't take it because it's not Pro MTF ISP, but that's the setup. You can put the case study around that. That's the breaker block setup. Beautiful. That's what we love with the imbalance through. This is absolutely perfect. Rule number 1, take the first stacked FUG. There you go. Came back on us a little bit after it took the sell side, but we're just gonna have faith in our algorithmic targets. And it runs to it. Let's see if it runs to the second one. See all that resistance there. So that was actually so far the low to the T, to the pip. Interesting. There you go. Right. On the Friday now. So Friday, we're expecting a retracement since it's been a very bullish week. So we can expect a little bit of a retracement of the week. So Let's remove all of this off the chart, clean it up. Likely to retrace into some of this. There's a retracement on the Friday. There's your week's low. That's last week's low. So we're looking at, there's their weekly low. This is the weekly high. There's the 50% of that FVG. That gets respected. And this is how you need to look at the markets, like 50%, either right in the 50% or completely closing the gap. When you start to look at it like this, trading becomes much more accurate and just kind of easier to build a narrative as well. It's very obvious that we're going to come down into here, below here. And this is just my own understanding of price action, right? I just understand that this pushed in, pushed up, and then it continued to dig through it, came back up, retested the high, and this is just building out your flag-like pattern, right? And that may, you know, it's not that flags don't work sometimes, it just depends on the context, right? Of course, they can be fake outs like this, and that can be cause for higher prices, of course. Again, this is not pro MTF ISP, so you would not take these trades, but it is on the 1 hour, right? We have had the breakdown, so yeah, we can definitely look for shorts then. Inverse FUG, we're seeing that resist price, and that of course resist price on London session. We're not looking at London session. There's New York session. It comes down into that liquid region we were looking at. It may want to come down into the 50% of this. Don't know. There's that pullback on the Friday. And breaks up above it. Pushing back down. Okay. This interests me. So let's slow down here and walk through it. Manipulated. Liquidity highs. Why is liquidity? Because it breaks down. Equals. Runs the equals. Comes back. Runs through this FEG. Taps the type 1 to the T. Sells off. Let's continue this order flow. This is by pip, whatever. It doesn't really matter. Comes off that. All right. I had the 5-minute on. We'll just stick to the 5-minute. And let's see if we get an entry right here. This, targeting that low. Pro 1 hour ISPs. Place order. Sell limit. And if I take a loss here, who really cares? There's your RDRB. So that means that this should be a breakaway gap. We can take it like this, target here. Place order, sell limit, RDRB, supports price. And what time are we at? 12. And let's just let this ride. Go break even because we're late in the day. And there's a break even. Still supporting price. And that would be the end of the week. There you go. So we're up 6.249% in a week. It's a fantastic week. So there was definitely opportunities. There's also that counter trend opportunity, which I didn't take, that I probably would have taken on my own. But you don't need to, clearly. Like, you don't need to. If you open up the door to taking counter trend trades, you're going to take them everywhere. And it's not just the fact that you're going to take the losses. It's also the fact that you're going to miss out on a lot of really good and better opportunities trading pro MTF ISP. Okay, so what you're looking to do when you're trading pro MTF ISP is not just to try and not just to, because you have to. This is what I feel like a lot of you guys are going through that are trading pro MTF ISP. Just because you're trading pro MTF ISP doesn't mean the market needs to respect pro MTF ISPs. You're looking for the session to get in line with your pro MTF ISP or your medium time frame ISPs, your 1 hours and your 4 hours. You wait for the session to get in line. You wait for the manipulations to happen that are in line with your bias and your MTF ISPs. And that's going to reduce your trades a lot. You're going to get extremely high quality trades. Now, on the other hand, bearish order flow, like in this case here, is going to develop into your MTF ISPs. They do not need to hold. The market doesn't know your this term ISP. The market doesn't give a shit that this term ISP, it means absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things. It's our way of understanding the market's direction. But the market doesn't give a shit about this word or about the mechanics of it. The mechanics of the market are different. The ISP just gives us a clear way of compartmentalizing that. A whole slew of things with order flow, but order flow doesn't actually care that that's a thing. So what we have to do is we have to wait for that MTF ISP to be confirmed with, or in the session to be in line with the MTF ISP, and that's where your edge lies. And then you have to wait for CO as well in the lower time frames to be in line with that, and that's where your edge lies. Then you can start to execute like we did here, 6.249%. Beautiful. Alrighty, that's the week, man.